Hello and welcome. My name is Josh. I'm the IT coordinator for the North Central District Health Department. We're going to be doing a training here today regarding RingCentral and the digital application on your computer, and kind of going through and giving you a kind of overall view of the program and how to use it and how to function with it and use it in your day-to-day. Starting off, after you log in on the computer, the app should launch. You'll want to log into it using the credentials you had set up. After you log in, you're going to be brought to what effectively is this screen. May not be this exactly. It may bring up your personal messaging board, but it typically will start off in the messaging area. This is kind of where the Teams similarity begins here. Like Teams, which I can pull up and show you here. Effectively, you've got your messaging, you have any sort of photos or anything, any messages that you've sent back and forth, your calendar, OneDrive access, etc. Your status is up here at the top. RingCentral does something similar where you have a personal memo, note to self area. You've got your messaging that you have conducted with other folks, any teams that you're a part of or departments. You've also got reminder settings up here at the top. And up here at the top is also the new message button where you will pick the person's name. So let's say I want to send one to Mr. Tony Millett. Click that, and then I can send whatever message I want. I can hit send, and it will pop up and show under him that basically I sent a message and bring me to his listing here. You've got the ability down here to format your message. You can attach files. You can send emojis or react to messages. You can send video and audio recordings. You can set new events. You can create tasks, notes. If you've got code snippets that you're trying to send to somebody, you can do that as well, where it puts it into the special block that makes it easier to copy code out. That's the basics for that. Not much else really to write home about. You can pop out your conversation up here at the top. You can view the profile of the person. It also gives, as you saw there, extension, the primary number, the contact number that's like the direct contact, and their email. There's also other options in here, notification preferences, where it pops up the notifications down at the bottom of the screen. You can mute the conversation so you don't get notifications on it. Popping it out would put it into a separate window like this here so that you can move it around on your various screens, that sort of thing. So that is the messaging section. Next up is your video conferencing. You have effectively Zoom built into RingCentral as well, to where you can send meeting requests, you can start meetings, you can schedule them, you can join them, you can start a personal meeting, you can sync your calendar so that you get the notifications from your Outlook. Up at the top here, you'll see that we're under upcoming meetings, so this is where any upcoming meetings I would have would show up. Past meetings that I've been a part of or I've attended show up under the past meetings, and then recordings are going to show the recordings that I've made or that have been shared with me. It defaults to all, so it shows everything. Obviously, I don't have any recordings here, so we can't, but I can't see any. But you can also search recordings, so if you happen to know, the date or the name of it, what the meeting was about or something along those lines, to where you can search the title effectively. That's the meeting section. Phone. This is the part that is really cool. This is a soft phone or a software phone. You have your keypad, has your caller ID. You can pick, if I wanted to put my primary number down instead of sending it and using the caller ID as the main office or whatever it's defaulted to for my account, I can choose to use my personal number. Everybody has a fax number and a direct dial number. Be mindful of that whenever you're giving it out. Don't really give it out if you don't have to. to cut down on the amount of spam calls or direct dial. But you do have faxing. We'll go over faxing in a bit here. Effectively, you can search for a person in here. So let's say that I want to talk to Nico. Well, I can do that. Put in Nico, I get her extension or her primary number. I can call either. If I call it, it will dial her. Or if I click on her, it'll dial her. And it's effectively a phone that uses your audio and microphone on your computer. You have your calls up here where you've missed calls. Yes, missed a few. Sorry. I've returned them though. But anywho, that's your missed calls. You can search them. You've got missed here. You can filter by outgoing, incoming. You can edit to where you can delete them out if you want to remove them. And that sort of deal there. Voicemails. Your voicemails will go here as well as your email. Any unread voicemails will come in here too as well that you can view. You can sort it by those or by all. Edit again is going to allow you to delete the emails. They have text to, or speech to text, sorry. So they will take your email and turn it into text and drop it here. You can see kind of what exactly the person's talking about in that, so you don't have to listen to the whole message. I would still recommend listening to the message because the speech to text AI for pretty much all providers is not the greatest. There are going to be typos and parts where if somebody mumbles, it's not going to pick it up correctly. Over here you have your recordings. Any recordings during a call or anything like that get saved, you will have them pop up here. We do have the option, it is not turned on, it is optional to turn on during a call to notify the caller and to notify you that it is being recorded, and then they would appear in here. Just a heads up on that. Your HUD, that's just effectively any extensions or anything that you've got that are kind of there for various things. It's just a layout thing. I wouldn't bother too much with that. You're mainly going to want to be bothered with the dial pad, the calls, and the voicemails. Text messaging, we don't do because it's an additional registration and everything. If we did, it would allow you to send SMS messages from your computer phone system here to another user, to cell phones, etc. Again, something we're not going to touch on because we're not using it. Faxes we are. So this is where your faxes will come in. If you get a fax that's direct to you or to your call queue, you can view it here. You've got your unread toggle, your sent, received, failed, just like you would on a fax machine itself. If you hit the button up here at the top, where it's got the little paper going into the machine with a plus, that's your new fax. There are a lot of options here. We're going to go over them individually. So this is where you will put in a fax number or a contact number. This is the fax from. Currently it is showing as the district office. You can click it and you can set it to whatever you need to set it to show up. Think of this like your kind of like your cover letter. This is like the what'll show up with like the caller ID and the cover letter and everything. Your cover pages, you can do none. You have, I think it defaults to ancient here, which is a kind of a burned paper look. I don't know. And there's various other ones. There's like the urgent messaging, the modern, formal. I typically like the modern personally. It's got a nice feel to it and it just looks professional. Any notes that you have, the attachments. So this is where you'll drop your file that you're trying to fax over, say a scanned document or something like that for like an animal bite or whatever. If you have to send that out, you would drop that scan in here. Your max file size is 50 megs. So try to stay under that. Most PDFs are fairly small, which is what the majority would be using. But that is how you would send a fax out. And then any faxes that you get will show up here, and you can see the summary over here in the reading bank. You have contacts. Contacts are basically everybody in the company, everybody's extensions and phone numbers. There's also call queues like you see down here at the bottom for Trimble Environmental and Trimble Front Office. There's the maintenance group call queue, so you can actually transfer to another call queue if you needed to. Here's the Shelby English. We also have kind of the hands group, the Henry front staff, etc. So there's a ton of options here just to find somebody. Guests, those are folks that are outside the company. You've got your personal contacts list as well. You can also, down here at the bottom, sign in with Exchange, and that would be the way to port in any contacts that happen to be in your email system. I would pull those over. The last couple are more just kind of power user stuff. Your analytics are going to open up a website that'll show you your analytics and your reporting, basically business metrics, etc., performance reports, company numbers, various stuff. Not really in the scope of what we're dealing with here today, but it's still there. The next thing would be settings for everybody. This is where you would set your video meeting settings because it defaults to that first. But you have all your settings over here on the side. You have your general settings so that you can pick a language if you'd prefer to have the language in Spanish. If you'd rather, there's location where your downloads are going to go. Normally it defaults to your downloads folder. You can tell it to prompt you, or you can tell it just to start, downloading and whatever, saving it right away. Your screen zoom, if you have trouble seeing, you can pick anywhere up to 200%. You can also use Control plus and minus in the app here to adjust that. Messaging, this is the messaging as far as the Teams message. You can get a badge count on there for all messages or direct messages only. This number, there'll be a little number that'll tick up on here, just like with Teams, that'll show you that. Let's see here. We have muted conversations. There's a message from Nico. So we'll just go back in here and see this. And so immediately takes me right out of what I was working in, takes me over to hers. And I can send a message back. And we can also start a video call. Like I said, video call and your audio call up here at the top. You can also show details, like if there's any pinned messages, files, tasks, links, notes, etc. all inside there. Nico's saying it's glad it's Friday. I agree with her. We'll dive back in here to settings. So, messaging again. The badge count will tick up. Any unread conversations will be held in bold. That's normal. Unread at mentions. That's where somebody like at your name, it'll pop up and it'll show like hey, this is directed to you. It'll kind of highlight it. That sort of thing. Video, this is where, again, I said your video settings. If you hit edit, it'll open up. You can pick your microphone, your speakers, just like you would in Zoom. You can test your speakers, test your microphone, adjust the volume, do background noise mitigation, tell it to automatically mute and join audio with the computer, that sort of thing. Video, pulls up your webcam. It says, it defaults to turn off when you join meetings. Gallery size, that is where you have the number of people that pop up on the side, left, right, wherever on your screen, the gallery of people that you're interacting with. Max visible is 16, and then it would start paginating it. You can go to 25 if you wanted to, but that's going to use a lot more resources of your computer, the more people it has to render the image of. You got your background and your effects. You've got blurring. You have kind of your stock images here. There's effects where you can touch up your skin. In case the lighting's like really bad, you've got your low light auto follow. That's where the camera kind of tries to track your head, your face, to keep you centered. Uh, Delegates. This is where if you wanted somebody to basically um, contact and schedule on your behalf, you could set a delegate here. Nobody's really going to use that, I don't believe. And then you have your general settings. And again, this is all under the meetings, under video calling. So the Zoom section. Play tones whenever the connection's broken, you can turn that on. Meetings shared, deleted, ready, everything else. Entry and exit tones. If you want to hear a chime whenever somebody enters or leaves a meeting, you have those options. The phone options, this is where you can set how missed calls are handled, how calls coming in are handled. I'll pull that up real quick here. You'll have your do not disturb under here. You have your forwarding. So if you're going on vacation and you need to forward all your calls, you can just come in here, hit forward. It'll forward all your calls. It will tell you that it's forwarding up here at the top. And all calls will basically go out. You can also tell it, hey, this call's been forwarded to the voicemail. You can forward it. You can play an announcement. Announcements are kind of those overarching, like, hey, we're going to be closed on this day. That would normally be handled at the site level versus your level, but you can have it forwarded on. And there's a schedule that you can turn it on so that if you are going to be out, say, on Halloween, you would pick, Halloween. You're coming back on the 1st at 11 a.m. You're leaving at 11. And that would turn it on and turn it off. Your voicemail settings. This is where you can actually record your voicemail greeting. This is the main thing. You have, hey, this call's been forwarded. This is the default. But you can go custom. And custom will allow you to use your computer microphone. You can tell it to dial you, so that it'll dial your phone, and then you can record from your phone. Or if you have like an external file that you've already made through some other program or something, you can drag and drop it in here to upload it. It's got to be in a WAV or an MP3 file format, but you can do that as well. Save messages in My Voicemail box or another extension, so that's another way to get your voicemails over to somebody else if you're on vacation, etc. I'll turn mine back to default and hit save here so it saves it. Voicemail pin, this is where you set up your voicemail pin to pick up your messages with. Shared voicemails, those are for where co-recipients will receive and check your voicemail messages. So if you're, again, going to be out, or if you're sharing with like a group of folks for messages, you could set that up. Voicemail to text is turned on by default. That is the speech to text. That'll appear in your voicemail box and in your email. Fax options, you have your default fax ID. This is currently set for the main company, a district, but you can set it to however, whatever phone number you need to use. Print to fax, so you can install the fax plugin to send external pages as faxes. If you need that, please let me know. I can push that out automatically to where it doesn't need to have my username and password put in. We can just set that up and get that pushed out to you. This is also where you can print any incoming faxes automatically to your selected printer. You have to be using the application on the computer. It has to be on, but it will print any fax that comes in to your fax inbox over here. It will automatically kick it out to a printer of your choice. So if you want it to go straight to, and you don't want to have to deal with pulling it up in your fax box and looking at it and then sending it to the printer, you just tell it, hey, I want it all to go there. Notifications. This is all the notifications like you saw with Nico where it popped up down here at the bottom. It's effectively self-explanatory. There's all the options. You also can set your ringtone for your phone and the sound whenever you're going to get calls coming in. Video calls have a high gong, and there's a ton of options. Direct messages, you'll get an email notification every 15 minutes if you've got one that you haven't read. You'll receive email notifications when you're mentioned in emails. Teams, again, that's not Teams itself, not Microsoft Teams, but the Teams under the messaging where you have the, my team down here. And then text message notifications. Audio, again, all the audio settings. Calendars, contacts, this is where you can connect Exchange or Microsoft 365. We would want to go with Microsoft 365 because Commonwealth Office technology uses Office 365, not Exchange. Bear that in mind. So you want to connect to Microsoft, not Exchange. That will allow all your contacts and calendars to come over out of your email. Themes, this is kind of where you've got your basic themes. You've got a dark theme, you've got a light theme. You can tell it to follow the system settings, which would go dark on mine because I use a dark theme on my computer. Privacy, that's just cookies. Nothing really matters there. Keyboard shortcuts, you can set those if you want. I'm not going to really go into it. There's shortcuts for everything. One of the good ones to kind of keep an eye on is Alt-A will answer the phone calls that come in case you can't get your mouse over to that. Just hit Control-A. Control-Shift-A will mute the call. Administration, this is just kind of your basic deal. And then this is kind of the section that I get. Company settings over here, you guys won't have access to that, so we're not going to go into it too much, but it's basically just the administration side of everything. The private team that I'm on apparently has a whole bunch here. Just kind of the members of district there. One last thing to note, you have a search. That is a search for contacts and keywords anywhere in the app. You have a keypad. This will bring up a external keypad that you can dial on that's outside of the phone over here, so that way you don't have to have this big screen up. You can just have this little guy up off to the side to answer and receive calls. And last but not least, there's the new actions. New actions as new message, create team, start a video meeting, schedule a video meeting, start a conference call, and send a new fax. So I can be in a message, go over here, hit send a new fax, and it's going to pop up like I'm in the fax window to send a fax. Same sort of deal with if I want to start a video meeting. It's going to just immediately pop up a video meeting, give me my options, and now I'm in a meeting. Just like that. I can break out into smaller groups with the button down here. Effectively, everything else like you would have with Zoom. You can see your participants here. Yeah, so it's really handy, and then you just hit leave, and that'll close it out. I can send a new message here, and again, it just pops it all up. So that effectively is the RingCentral application. I know I just covered a ton of it. If you do have any questions, please feel free to contact me directly. My extension is 207. It has been my pleasure to give you guys the rundown of this system and everything, and I hope that everything goes great for you today. Yeah, and then that's it. I'm going to go ahead and sign out. And again, wish you all a great day.